Welcome to Reality NSFW. I am Lauren Pratt. Along with me is Alex Trias. We are back to break down episode number 4 of the challenge, and we get to talk about all the dumbass moves that occurred tonight. Alex, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I was a little nervous at the beginning of this episode. The mission was it was fine. There was some comedy of it, but the second half really bounced back with the drama and, like you said, some very interesting moves were made with big repercussions to follow. So let's get into that.
Yeah, we need to get into this because I'm telling you, this episode was kind of meh for me. It was okay. There was some decent amount of drama, but I will say the mission was not one of my favorites.
Yeah, I would say this episode more builds up for next week and some of the future weeks of episodes. Just I think a lot more has been lines were drawn, and we'll get to see that come to play.
Yeah, we definitely will. I think just going down into the crater and what happens at the end of the episode is definitely going to make the next few weeks much more intense, bring the excitement which we're looking for on every single challenge season.
Yeah, but to start off, we get the recap. It's been 2 weeks, so Devin just won the elimination against West. They come back in. Devin's saying sarcastically that he's the strongest person in the world. They're all drinking during the night, and we get a first scene with Tori, Anissa, and Fessy in the hot tub. We're talking about Tori and Anissa's relationship. Makes sense. They have a podcast right now going over the challenge. But you have people eyeing it. But that's not the only relationship that they're eyeing.
No, not the only relationship that they're eyeing. You are absolutely correct on there. Also, you're clicking a little bit on your end with your mic.
Let's just keep moving.
No, I just want to make sure people that are listening that I don't know if they're hearing any clicking, but I am on my end, so hopefully it sounds okay.
Okay.
But yes, let's get into the relationships, everyone that they're eyeing. This episode was weird with the whole Fessy and Tori dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. So Fessy pretty much was saying he has feelings for Tori, but she's with Jordan, at least at the time. So he wants to be respectful, but come on, she's gorgeous, in his words. She is, but Corey's saying there's definitely something cooking there. They're not showing the full story, but there's something kicking in the back of his mind, which comes to fruition at the end of the episodes.
Absolutely, there is something between them, and it's clear to see because if Fessy can't take his eye off of Tori.
Yep. But that's not the only eyes people are worrying about. Reese is worried that Jay will be targeted by the house because he looks like a weaker competitor.
Yeah, Jay has some strong suits with him, but he's not the biggest physical specimen that there is. However, he does have a lot of agility.
He has agility, but what's more important is he's trying to work on his social game. He wants to be able to ride the middle of the house, make friends with everyone so that he could try to make his elimination when he wants to go.
Alex, you may have to unplug your mic.
There's nothing wrong with my end.
It's so static and you can't hear anything.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds 100% better.
Okay, well let's keep moving forward then.
All right, do you want to get into what went down with Big T, Devin, Kyle, and Amber M, where Amber M actually finally makes an appearance on the season. She ends up with her first confessional.
Yeah, well, what happens prior to that, I think, is what sets this up. Devin asks about how did the Big T name come across, and essentially Big T just continues to warm the hearts of everyone, all the fandom. Everyone loves Big T. Big T struggled a lot in the early portions of her life, a lot of family deaths that she had to get through. She was adopted at the age of 4, given the name Big T, trying to be the ultimate optimist.
Big T has been through so much, and it's just nice to be able to get her story, because I don't think we've seen that on other seasons of the challenge, where she's been able to fully explain herself, how she grew up and what all she's been through. And you can just tell that people support her so much. And Devin obviously has that connection with Big T, with Devin losing his dad, but he kind of turned what could have been a really, really sweet moment into somewhat of an explosion, and he gets into it with Amber M for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, it sort of felt like he was being extra just to be extra. He determined that he didn't like Amber, probably because she was associated with Nelson, and Nelson's group is what got him sent into elimination. So I think it more derives off that. I think it was just Devin being Devin, and unfortunately there's negatives to being Devin.
I just found it to be kind of cold, because you really don't need to create tension with somebody else, especially when someone just shared such a deep story about themselves. And I just felt it was a little unnecessary. I do like Devin most of the time, but during that instance, it was such a turnoff, because he didn't need to do that. If he really has beef with Amber M, take care of that somewhere else.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And Amber ends up going to talk the next morning with Corey and Nelson about it. They all, and probably other people in the house, are thinking Devin's on a power trip because he got his gold skull. And Nelson confronts him, which it turns out to be a mistake.
I found that situation so humorous, because Devin's just laying in bed and is basically telling Nelson, I'll come to you when I want to talk. And Nelson's just trying to back his partner, Amber. And that's awesome to see, because Nelson, if you're with him, he's going to back you up at the end of the day. But Devin just basically sent him away, said, I don't need to be bothered by you. I don't care. Leave me alone.
Yeah, and it also sort of shows that the dynamic changes of Nelson the past few seasons. Like, we've seen him be very confrontational with people in a more physical way, or especially derogatory towards some of the women in the past. And you're now seeing him more be like, okay, I'm partnered with this person. I'm going to defend them, put my game on the line to defend my people. So it's sort of like a nice dynamic. Like, he comes across a lot more calm now in his approach.
He certainly was calm, cool, and collected going into that. He wasn't coming at Devin, guns blazing. He went in very calmly and said, hey, I want to know what happened last night. And it's a new Nelson, because in the past, he would have just raged on.
Yeah, absolutely. But with that, we get past that, and we're now heading into the mission, where TJ comes in, and they say the mission is called drone control. And this is how the mission worked. There were lava tunnels that they were standing over. 2 teams at a time would go down. And there was a secret code that was on the other side of the tunnel that could only be accessible via drone. So one member would be moving the drone, and the other one would be looking at what the drone was seeing through a VR headset. Once that person saw the codes, they would get the drone back, and then they would have to go and decipher the combination. Fastest team to complete the challenge wins. And you know what? Wasn't too hard for one group.
No, it most certainly was not too hard for one group. I honestly think that the concept of the challenge was really strong, but the execution was so poor. I think when they were coming up with it, that they thought it would be riveting television, and it was nothing like that. It was terrible to watch. People were crashing all over the place. Half the people couldn't even get the drone off of the table, which was super embarrassing.
it sort of felt like if you've ever been to a carnival, it feels like those carny games that you're never actually supposed to win. Like you had TJ the entire time going, well, thanks for playing, guys. You tried. Like I don't suck, but I know you guys suck. It was sort of funny that way. You got some comedy and levity out of the episode through the mission.
I always love TJ because whenever people do so poorly, he's just cracking up in the background. And he's probably standing there saying, how in the world are these people that terrible? But as the pairs continue to go and he realizes, oh my God, is someone actually even going to be able to complete this?
Yeah, and the fun thing about TJ is I don't think he thinks like a producer. He's thinking as TJ. So in the moment, TJ's like, this is hilarious. I'm going to laugh. It's not so much like, oh, this is production. I'm trying to produce the moment. Let me put some one-liners in and really assess the scene. He's just like, no, I'm going to make fun of you guys. You guys are stupid. You can't do anything. I probably test ran this and did it perfectly. So joke's on you.
That's why I love having TJ as a host of the challenge, because he does not give two shits what anyone thinks. He is exactly who he wants to be on the show. And I definitely think that many people that get to play on the challenge love TJ.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of the teams we really don't need to discuss. Most of them time out. It's pretty obvious. They just run into the wall and it's over. There's a couple teams I do want to mention. One is Lolo and Nam. They seem to be the second best team to do it, at least for a moment in time. But it was more so just because you had one confessional Lolo going, man, just like every other relationship I've been in, Nam can't listen and follow directions from me. And on the other side, you had Nam going, I like Lolo. She's good. She's not patient, though. And then you have Anissa laughing at them for not being patient.
Nam is so funny in his confessionals, even though he's not trying to be funny. He just gets his point across. He's very calm, but what he says is so true. He's spot on in terms of Lolo having patience, because she was all over the place with what she was trying to figure out during that. And it just was funny to see them try to work together, and the execution was just terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. But then let's get to the main team. It's the main people of the episode. It's Tori and Devin. They're really trying to highlight how they don't like each other. They're forced to be paired with each other. Oh no, they're paired with each other. They win pretty decisively. Devin's good with numbers. He was able to direct Tori through the drone. And now Tori, for a moment in time, loves Devin.
For half a second, she loves Devin. I'm calling it right here, right now. Future Rivals season, those two are going to be paired together.
Yeah, and here's the thing. And you'll probably hear it from Marie on the podcasts on Thursdays as they go forward, and she talks about their experience. All these players are thinking about future seasons.
Yep.
You can tell Tori does not, unlike they showed in last episode, Tori does not vehemently hate Devin. They're just trying to make something out of this so that, in the future season, we're rivals. We hate each other. We could not work together at all despite us winning this mission.
So many times people find ways to create controversy with each other. You see it on Twitter, and then all of a sudden they're on a season together and they're paired up with each other and they do quite well. People are just doing what they want to get the $1 million at the end of the day, and they're looking out for themselves. So if you're able to create a situation that brings you back for a future season, it's going to happen.
Well, we'll be talking about that later, but yeah, a lot of people are thinking about what can they do to get that $1 million.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah, so TJ says they're double agents. They were the only team to complete the challenge, so by default, Devin and Tori are the winners. Then we get this confessional from Tori realizing, we both have two completely different plans. And let's see what's going to happen, which we can lead into here. So they get back to the house. We'll first talk about Tori's side. So Tori is very much old school mentality of why aren't we putting the weak people in? Let's regroup all the strong people, all the veterans, and let's target the weak people so that I can get a skull. Because despite what we didn't talk about, Liv was not medically cleared to compete anymore. So she was taken out. Michi's a rogue agent, so he's free to go. So everyone's starting to think about the elimination, and could it be a guy's night? Could it be a girl's night, even though a girl just went home through a medevac? Like, you would assume it would be a guy's night, but Tori's thinking self-interested. But if it's a woman's one, I want to put a weak girl in there.
However, notice that Tori's thinking that now just because she's in power. And when the roles were reversed, if she was on the other side, she wouldn't be saying, let's put a weak person in. She's only looking out for herself, which other people are noticing. So that was not good gameplay on her part, because people go, oh, wow, Tori is so selfish. She could care less about us. She only cares about her getting her skull, which at the end of the day, you have to care about getting your skull, but you need to do it in a subtle way where it's not going to paint a target on your back.
Yeah, it's interesting with Tori. So with Tori, like, I think it's good intention with Tori. Like, this is a self-interested game. Like, if everyone takes a step back from their feelings, they would realize, okay, Tori's either gonna try to eliminate someone that she sees as a threat, or she wants to get her skull early and get that done. So you have to have that two minds about it. But you also need to understand, well, what type of elimination is it going to be in terms of, is it a man or a girl's elimination? Because if it's a man's elimination, she really shouldn't care. She would probably want to have a weak guy go out so that she has the opportunity to have a stronger male competitor at the end.
Right, and this is why this season's so interesting, because there's so many different dynamics that you have to look at. You have to plan, all right, do I want to keep these specific guys around because I might end up with them as a partner in the future? Or do I want to eliminate these weaker girls because I want to have a chance to go up against them? There's so many different avenues to cross when it comes to a season such as this, just because there are only 10 skulls and people want to be partnered up with the strongest person possible to be able to run the final, because it's looking like they're going to run in partners unless we're told otherwise, but we could be told otherwise because TJ throws bomb after bomb after bomb each time.
Yeah, because, it could end up like last season where it was just all guys are competing against each other, all girls are competing against each other, and that's it. We'll find out. But we then get Devin's side of the story after he proclaims himself as the strongest and smartest man in the world for winning the mission. So you see him talking with CT, and it's him actually somewhat putting emotion aside and going, okay, I need to be smart and more calculated about my decision here. Like, I can put someone in there that I don't like, but let's be more strategic about it and how we do the process. And his initial targets are pretty much anyone who's associated with Big Brother, but mainly Josh.
Yes, mainly Josh. Devin is not going to forgive and forget what occurred with Josh just last week. He cannot stand Josh. Basically, people are on the same page as Devin in terms of Josh cannot handle himself. He shouldn't drink on the challenges, because I think if he's sober, he can actually calculate specific moves. But when he's drinking, he just goes rogue. Yeah,
it's just, I know there's some people who hate throwing the emotional word around, but when you are someone more in your feelings, and that's how you more connect with people like Josh, it may benefit you to not drink and sort of loosen the restraints that you put on yourself to not go against people and be more out front and blatant towards people.
I'm fine with emotional players, but when you put alcohol with that, it just escalates it so much more. And I think Josh, he does have a social side to his game, but when he decides to drink, it's just a turnoff for other people. If he's actually having those conversations with people when he's sober and he's level-headed, he does a pretty good job.
Yeah, and we'll be talking more about Josh shortly, but before we move to the club time, let's hear a word from some of our sponsors.
Winter's here and it's crazy cold outside, but what you don't know is you should still drink more water. By the time you feel thirsty, it's too late. You're already dehydrated. You can't focus and you feel tired.
Drinking enough water is critical for a healthy lifestyle that you're trying to maintain. It increases your brain power, boosts your productivity. It can prevent headaches and it'll increase your focus. Not only that, it improves your skin and mood, and it can help with your digestion and give you energy. Wow, it also prevents bad breath and can help you lose weight. But how much water should you drink each day? 10 cups? A gallon? The good news is that it doesn't have to be so complicated. That's why I start my day with Hydrant, because Hydrant helps you hydrate faster.
Hydrant has created a refreshing electrolyte powder that you mix directly into water to more efficiently and effectively hydrate your body. It hydrates you quickly and keeps you going for longer. Each rapid hydration mix has the 4 essential electrolytes that your body needs: sodium, potassium, magnesium, and zinc, and it packs a punch to help your body hydrate fast and stay hydrated. If you're looking for that extra boost of energy, there's also Hydrant Plus Caffeine, which contains 100 milligrams of caffeine from green tea. Hydrant is backed by research. The formula was developed by an Oxford scientist. It also is loved by pro athletes, top performers, celebrities, and has thousands of 5-star reviews.
It's made with real fruit juice powder. It's delicious and refreshing, and it comes in a variety of flavors, including iced tea, lemonade, and fruit punch. My favorite personally is the grapefruit. It's a classic and I go back to it. It's delicious. Plus, this stuff is backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you don't love it, you can send it back for a full refund. You really need to try it for yourself to see what I'm talking about. It tastes incredible and it works.
Well, Hydrant starts at just $1 a packet for a 30-day supply, and you save even more with a monthly subscription. And it's so easy to get. We've got a special deal for our listeners to save 25% off your first order. We're not kidding here, folks. 25%. Go to drinkhydrant.com/survivor and enter our promo code SURVIVOR at checkout. That's drinkhydrant.com/survivor and enter promo code SURVIVOR for 25% off your first order. That's drinkhydrant.com/survivor. Enter promo code SURVIVOR to save 25%. And we thank them for sponsoring the podcast. This episode is brought to you by Magic Spoon. Now, oh my God, Magic Spoon was so kind to send me that's really cool bowl. It's like rubbery, it's the coolest bowl of all time. And this rainbowy spoon that is really awesome. And if you think about it, they're called Magic Spoons, so why shouldn't the spoon be totally incredible? Well, here's how incredible all these things are put together. My daughter Piper, turning 13 this month, thinks that is the coolest spoon, the coolest bowl, and as a result, the coolest cereal of all time. I mean, we're talking about a kid that ate the worst cereal ever. And she's now all in on Magic Spoon. I've been on board, the whole time, but to have the rest of the family join in on with me, oh my God, we are a Magic Spoon family.
Man, growing up, cereal was one of the best parts of being a kid, so I'm glad Piper's on board. But I've recently had to give it up because I realized it was full of sugar and junk that you just shouldn't eat. I've been trying to cut down on carbs, sugar, unhealthy foods, and I realized I basically can't eat anything anymore. So I've changed up my breakfast routine, and I've added Magic Spoon, and it's a game changer, I gotta say.
So, well, with the new year, we're all trying to eat better, but healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring. Magic Spoon has amazing flavors that you love, but without all the bad stuff.
Yeah, they have 0 sugar, 11 grams of protein, and only 3 net grams of carbs in each serving. So many of you have asked us, and now you can finally build your own custom variety box and not just go with a pre-scripted one. You can choose from the best-selling cocoa, fruity, frosted, and blueberry flavors, plus brand new flavors including peanut butter and cinnamon.
Hey, it tastes amazing. Honestly, too good to be true. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. My favorite, absolutely, positively, no contest, cinnamon.
Good choice. Go to magicspoon.com/survivor to build your own custom variety box and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code SURVIVOR to get $5 off your order.
Yeah, Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. That's magicspoon.com/survivor. Use promo code SURVIVOR. They love it when we do that to save $5 off.
Boom. And we thank Magic Spoon for sponsoring the podcast.
And we're back. And it's the club time.
Yes.
So everyone's busting their moves. They're really letting Nelson show off his moves. Nelson's talking about how he wants to make it to the final with his best friends, Corey and Fessy.
So amazing.
I will say, Challenge, they do a good job with editing. I'll get into it a little bit later, but the intricacies of the main storyline was very impressive, where they just pecked it in throughout the episode instead of making it the main focus until it needed to be.
The foreshadowing is just incredible. And that's the thing. I will say each episode we have seen so far of the season of the challenge, the editing has been impeccable.
I would say they definitely upped their game. But we get another conversation between Devin and Tori, and now it's Devin trying to broker peace between himself and Tori and get at least somewhat of a level interest in play. So they're talking about who they could potentially call down to elimination or use as a house vote. And Devin says, Tori, you can give 3 people. We won't touch them if you say no, we can't touch them. And they sort of talk about them through the guys in the pairings. So that's what I'm going to do. And Tori said she wanted Fessy safe. She wanted Corey safe. And she wanted Leroy safe. Then you had Devin going, okay, I knew you were going to pick Leroy. That's why I'm picking Kyle, Nam, and CT. Nam was an interesting one, but then I remembered Nam was part of the group that tried to work with him and Wes. So maybe Devin sees a moldable soldier in him.
Right. I believe Nam's going to be pretty loyal to Devin throughout the season just based on what we're seeing so far with the edit. So I think it's a good choice for Devin to say, yeah, I have Nam in my corner.
It's interesting, yeah. Then Tori tries to keep a 4th person.
And Nani, she's like, can we not say Nani? And Devin's looking at her, I let you have 3 people and you want to have a 4th? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's sort of selfish at that point because you're one team. There's 12 teams currently. You're safe. You then just saved 6 teams there. You take out another team. So you're saying 8 teams are safe. So you only have 4 teams left to choose from. Okay, that's slim pickings.
Yeah, I think at that moment, Tori just said, I got the 3 people that I chose. Let me take a step back. Devin got his 3 people. Then we need to figure it out from there. Because you have to compromise in a partnership. Even though you're not specifically working closely with each other, you still have to work with each other. Because at the end of the day, you don't know if there's ever going to be another partner switch up. Yes, there could easily be, because if Tori goes in and gets her skull, guarantee she's probably going to try and upgrade to someone better than Devin. We don't know that, but you still have to work as a unit.
So essentially, Devin's trying to force in I want Nani and Josh in no matter what. Tori's going to think about it. And Devin does say later on, like you said, we may not be partners forever, but we're partners right now. So we need to do what's in both of our best interests. We then get one last scene from the club, and it's Fessy. Because Tori's not available, he will not do anything with Tori. But that doesn't mean he will not try with Gabby.
It was so bad. His game, as Amber M said it, he has no game.
His game is the fact that he's a handsome man. He's a big, tall, handsome man, but he's an idiot.
Yes, but when he was talking to Gabby, everything he was saying, I'm like, what are you even talking about? Nothing you're saying makes any sense. And you could tell, you have to be able to read people's body language. Gabby's sitting there and like, how do I get away from here? Can someone come save me?
Well, essentially, we get it from Gabby's like, he's attractive, yeah, but at the moment, I'm just teasing at this point. I'm letting him do what he wants to do, but nothing's going to happen. Like Amber M said, she thinks there's no game there. There's no game. He was talking about, well, I find loyalty. That actually was another fun line there. He talked about how his biggest thing was loyalty. We'll see that later.
And then he's trying to essentially hit on Tori, who's engaged to Jordan back at home. So good on you, Fessy. Good on you.
It wasn't a bright episode for Fessy. He had a good result for himself in a short-term thing, but we'll get into all of his planning and how that's all going.
That's what I said. I said
he does
dumbass moves in this episode. So many that we can talk about, and I'm loving it.
Yep, but so let's go into the one that I call this the red herring of the episode, because you were setting up what a lot of people thought was going to be a possibility of the elimination with Josh doesn't trust Jay.
Cringe worthy. Out of literally nowhere. Casey, Jay, and Josh are sitting outside. Josh is basically standing over Casey and Jay, which that's not a good look either. And Jay's literally saying nothing and did nothing. And Josh is looking at Jay saying, I just don't fully trust you. Like, I don't want to be working with you. Out of nowhere.
Like, Josh runs off of these I have vibes things, and he trusts his vibes more than anything else. You know, and Jay's just like, what do I have to say to you to get through your head, the thickness of your skull, that I'm working with you? I have no intentions of going against you. You're a number for me. I'm a number for you. Stop being a child. Start acting like an adult, as he pronounced it, and let's move forward. But drunk Josh wasn't having it. And then sober Josh wasn't having it.
No, sober Josh the next day was not having it at all. I just felt bad for Jay, though, in that moment, because Casey's sitting there thinking, Josh, you're being an idiot right now, because Casey has good vibes from Jay. So Josh needs to realize if Casey's having good vibes from someone, trust Casey. Casey's a way better game player than you are. So if you're truly intending to work with Casey, go along with what Casey says, because it's probably better option than what you're thinking.
Yeah, Casey's a good team player in that sense. But in terms of Josh and his decision-making, I fully believe it's because he had a big inclination that he was going to go in because Devin won. So then he's doing the mental gymnastics in his head going, okay, I really want to win my first elimination. Who can I go up against in my mind that I think I can beat? And for whatever reason in his head, he's targeting Jay, who he should be aligned with, instead of, well, he can't go against Michi at the moment because he's a rogue agent, but it's like, come on, man, like, grow a pair and just go, I will go to elimination. I don't care who I go against. I will go in and try to win. Instead, he's trying to go with a pussy move and go, I'm looking for the smallest person and hope that it's something physical.
Let's be realistic here, Alex. Who in your mind do you think Josh has an actual chance of beating in the guys that are left on the season currently?
No one. And that's including Michi. Unless it was this. Like, if it was Michi versus Josh in the Hall Brawl, like, Josh is too big, I think, for Michi to get through. Like, I fully believe if you're the bigger person in Hall Brawl, you have the higher % chance of winning. Just straight up, that's just the facts and the numbers to back it up.
You do have a higher percentage of winning. However, if the little person is able to tire out the bigger person and you have a better sprint in you, the little person has a chance of winning. But brute strength sometimes just takes over.
I know, but I feel like unless you're like a Derek K, who's short, but he has all the heart in the world and he's a physical beast, your odds are very small. And he would need to go against someone who's slender and smaller than him. So unless Jay's technically that, but I think Jay has more grit than him.
I do too. And then the fact that Jay now knows that Josh is saying his name. If Jay takes on Josh in a future elimination, Jay has a lot to prove, because he is like, this kid targeted me for no reason. I want to kick his ass.
Yeah, and I think Jay's trying to line up getting a skull later instead of being forced into getting a skull, because he's probably having flashbacks of his first season where he got a skull, but then he just kept getting put back in.
Well, he even said that too, that his whole goal was to lay low at the beginning, which he was doing a great job of. And then Josh just put a target on Jay's back. So Jay didn't even do anything wrong. The only reason why he's being targeted is because Josh made a stupid move.
But I will say the best moment of that whole fight, other than Jay saying that he would step in Josh's mouth and beat the shit out of it, was the confessional of Big T going, Josh just needs a tea. He needs to meditate. Like, just stop yelling. Stop with all the bad energy.
Big T has had the best confessionals of the season. Everything she says is hilarious, and it's so true. She nails it on the head each and every time, and I'm here for it. I stan Big T.
Do you find it interesting? We're 4 episodes in. Even though Big T hasn't been that involved outside of like wanting her partner out, they've been making sure to have her give confessionals each episode, even when it's about stuff that has nothing to do with her.
She could go far in the season. I have no idea, but I would be here for it. If Big T somehow got herself into a final, I'm your biggest fan because she is just a pure gem.
Yeah, I'm going to say this now. I think they're trying to build a star and like a potential cornerstone, not in terms of winning finals, but as mainstays on the show for a while in Big T. Like, I think she's probably very easy to work with from a production standpoint. She gives solid confessionals, and you haven't met a cast member yet who has said a negative thing about her. And when you're on a team with someone that's like a challenge icon like CT, and you're outshining him in the episodes, like CT, outside of his old man gaming metaphors, Big T was the one giving the confessionals for their team.
Yes, Big T was on our screen so much tonight. And I think with her, as you just said, she could be really easy for production to bring in because no one even on social media has anything bad to say about Big T. I mean, you might get some people here and there, and you're always going to get that because those people are trash anyway. But it obviously, she's someone that could be here for a very long time. It is her 3rd season, and she didn't really do too well in the previous 2, and they brought her back for a 3rd one, so there must be something there.
I will stand Big T to the ends of the earth, and I will fight for her.
I will too.
So we get into deliberation, which is sort of narrated or conducted by Leroy. I guess like they sort of see Leroy as a seniority of the house now, which is, I know it's his last season and he's been there for 14 seasons. It's still weird to see with him without bananas, but he's sort of like, okay, so without naming names, Jay, Josh, and Nelson, you guys are the ones that we're all hearing. So
can I chime in real quick? Where's Darrell? Like,
Darrell's sleeping.
It's killing me because Darrell, we're just used to seeing him time after time in previous challenges. He's normally very much on our screens, and this season he's nowhere to be found.
Well, I think it's the thing of in his prime seasons, there was less people on the cast, whereas you're dealing with 30 people, and to our knowledge, they're not part of the story. So why are you going to have Amber B and Darrell give a bunch of confessionals? And for Darrell, at this point in his career, I don't think he's there to be like, oh, let me make electric TV. Let me put out really good confessionals. He's there to go, okay, I'm going to compete. I'm waiting for challenges that suit my skill sets. Once I get into elimination, then you're going to hear from me. And then if you get me to a final, you're going to hear from me because I'm going to win it.
You're right. He's there for the money at the end of the day, but still, I really enjoy Darrell, and I'm just sad we haven't gotten.
Oh yeah, I don't want to say I don't want to hear from him. I love Darrell. Anytime I've heard him, he seems like an awesome dude, and I want to see him compete. I just wish some of these challenges would be able to show that more. You can't really show it by trying to drive a drone.
Alex, I have to say, would you have done better at driving the drone than half the cast?
I've never driven a drone, but I would at least think that I'm smart enough to be able to feel the direction and listen to what my partner was telling me to do. Because I think of it as like the remote control airplanes, essentially, that you would have as a kid. It's just a more high-tech version and probably a more sensitive version. So you would have to be a little more gentle with it, where I feel these people are probably like, really mashing it to go like, okay, we need to go forward, floor it.
See, I would be giving the directions and you would be flying the drone, and I feel as though we would actually be a pretty good team there.
Yeah, unless I threw it.
Yeah, unless you decided, I don't care about Lauren, I'm just going to throw it.
And part of me would be like, I don't need the power, and it would be fun to smash something that doesn't belong to me.
That's a good point. Yeah, I know we got off topic, but however, I did want to know.
And besides, you don't want the power. You don't want the power yet. Stay in the background. But, okay, so Nelson now, not only is he showing he is able to do a more chilled out approach to the game, he's also showing he has learned how to do math. Because with Liv going out, there's one less girl than guys. So he's like, I understand you guys are saying like, oh, it could be this, or that. They're not going to have 2 women down. It's going to be a guy's elimination. So just saying.
Nelson finally figures it out.
Well, he figured it out before Tori.
I think Tori just was so wrapped up selfishly wanting to go in so badly that she wasn't even crunching the numbers.
Oh, yeah. She had tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Well, and hindsight, then the challenge being Hall Brawl is a tunnel, but that's besides the point. But then, like, Nelson also just wanted to take a moment in the event that it was a girls' elimination to once again stand up for his partner, say, you know what, Amber, you guys are all saying she can't go because she's small, but she has a lot of fight in her, so don't discredit her. And even his best friend Corey makes fun of him for saying that.
Right. I will say Amber M finally came to the party tonight. Not sure where she came from because she was part of controversy and we didn't really get too much of a storyline about her in the sense of, I would say everyone thinks she's weak, but she really hasn't done poorly really in anything. You can't base that off of looks necessarily. Do I think she's the smallest girl there? Yes. But just because you're the smallest girl doesn't mean you're the weakest girl.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't help that she also looks just not just small, but just tiny in general. Yeah. But yeah, it's the whole don't judge a book by its cover. We don't know.
We've seen upsets. We've seen upsets in the challenges before. So I think with people saying, I want to go against this person because they're the weakest, that might not be really good for them at the end of the day because they could get beat and get sent home.
Yeah. So we end up going to the vote. No one calls anyone out. We don't see too many of the votes. The main votes I saw were you were seeing that people were burning votes. Kyle, once again, is trying to just make a statement and votes for Anita and Fessy again. He doesn't like them. Fessy then for Kyle because, in his words, he's a pussy and that he can beat him in elimination. And you saw Darrell burn on Fessy and Anita too, which I found odd. But you were noticing a lot of people were tending to throw votes. And you saw it at the end where when the vote was revealed, only half the house voted for that group.
I find it odd as well with people throwing votes in different directions just to burn them because we've seen in previous challenges when someone thinks it's a burn vote, that person actually ends up going in. So I would never burn a vote because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and maybe people are burning votes because they think, at least from a viewer standpoint, we only see the double agents see the evicted or the team that was nominated, the people that voted for them. We don't know if they see everyone else's votes and where they go. So maybe people are throwing their votes to do that, to sort of like, they won't see me, so maybe they'll think I voted with them or how they wanted me to vote or whatnot. But do you want to reveal who the compromised agents were?
The compromised agents, shocker, Amber M and Nelson get selected. They're going in the crater no matter what.
Yep, they're going to the crater no matter what. Devin, once again, we talked about it, said to Tori that they need to do what's best for them right now because he doesn't want Tori to go in for the skull because he's probably also thinking it's most likely going to be a guy's elimination. So if she throws herself down there and I don't vote that way, we're still going down there, which means I'm going to be the one who has to compete.
Right, and he has to be able to explain that to Tori because he already has his skull. There's no way in heck he wants to go down there. And he's thinking realistically. It probably is going to be a guy's elimination. Obviously, in the challenge, you never know 100%. But he knows in that situation, his butt's on the line if Tori says, I want to go in, because Devin's obviously going to disagree and then wind up in there anyway. And she gets to sit off on the side, sitting pretty, and he would have to go in and compete.
Yep, exactly. And then we get one last scene before we get to, or a couple of scenes before we go to the creator. One is we see we see Nelson and Corey talking, and Nelson's sort of like regretting picking a rookie. He thought maybe it would help create more numbers through the rookies by picking them, but he should have just picked someone that he knew or someone that was stronger to try to avoid anything that could happen from being associated with a rookie.
Now, remind me, when they were picking partners, we didn't really see too much of them and how they actually ended up together. I think they just kind of got lumped with each other, honestly. I think if Nelson's saying this now, he could have been more aggressive with who he went for. But I think those two were kind of just standing around and they were next to each other. They just ended up.
At least that's what was shown to us. It could have been a different story, but there were just like so many people. It's just some of these people, yada, yada. It's not important to the overall story. For it.
Well, future reference, if you want a specific partner, be aggressive.
Be assertive. Then we have right before the elimination a conversation, important one somewhat, of Josh and Fessy, where Josh is trying to amp himself up, saying that he's ready to finally get his first elimination win, get his goal. He feels it's his time. He feels no matter what, Devin's going to be voting for him. And he's saying that to Fessy. But we get a brief confessional from Fessy saying, I need to get my skull soon.
Yeah, we get that from Fessy, and let's be clear, Fessy acts like he does not remember that conversation between Josh and himself saying that Josh wanted to go in and get his skull. So Fessy gets the flashback bounced in his direction on this episode.
Yeah, we had some, and we also had it earlier in the episode where Nelson said that Amber M was crying. Highlight over to Amber, not fazed at all by it and just eating her cereal.
She was composed. I'll give her that.
Yeah, like she never actually like raises her voice or anything. She was just like, no, I'm gonna stay here, like all that stuff. But anyway, we're going on to the crater. It's elimination time, and everyone, including Tori, are having orgasms because they see the hall it's going to be a hall brawl.
We see the hall brawl, but Fessy also sees the hall brawl and kind of does a little slight look to Tori and basically says, I want in.
And it was very good that you caught that because I missed that the first time through. So when the events happened, I was completely shocked by it. And I think that was on purpose. Like it was so indirect and quiet on the screen that I feel a lot of people that were watching initially did not see that. And that was the whole point. So that once the name was dropped to Fessy, everyone's jaws just dropped.
Yeah, absolutely. It was very, very subtle. So you had to catch it rather quickly. But then it made sense when we'll just get to the decision now. Obviously, Tori ends up voting for Fessy and Anissa to go in. Devin backs up Tori on that decision, and Josh has a temper tantrum, but that's beside the point at the moment. Tori, then you see the subtitle of her saying he said he wanted in.
Yeah, he wanted in. Well, it was after Tori needed confirmation from TJ what type of elimination was, to TJ saying, F you, I'm not going to tell you. You're an agent. Remember, you need to be able to decipher what's going on around you and figure it out. And Devin's just pleading with her going, come on, I promise you, I will find a way to get you in there to get a skull. It does not need to be right now. And she concedes and then drops the bomb. And I wonder if production said Tori needed to go first, because if Devin went first, there was no way in hell he was saying Fessy's name.
Right, but in that instance, you're gonna essentially back up your partner because you don't know what's gonna happen in a tie, and most likely in ties, you typically are the team that ends up going down. So at that moment, Devin's like, "Oh well, shit. I guess we're putting Fessy and Anissa, and that's news to me."
Yeah. So everyone's jaws on the cast drop when they hear Fessy's name. Josh is having a tantrum. Nani's trying to talk him down like she's his parent. It was Mom Nani tonight.
Yeah, in many different scenarios. But Josh was, even after Tori said Fessy's name, Josh was still pleading with Tori, change your vote. Tori, change your vote.
I didn't even understand. It wasn't even like they were saying the Tori. They were saying the Fessy. Like, Fessy, say no to this. Fessy, say, I'm like, no, that's not how. And I just kept going like, why are you guys getting mad at Fessy for this? Like, you can be mad at Fessy for going behind your backs and saying to Tori, pick me. But Tori is the one who voted. Fessy can't go, oh, even though the double agents picked me, I can't go in. It's not my time. That's not how it works.
Right. What's TJ gonna? TJ's probably sitting there just saying, what is happening right now? Because once you get the vote, Fessy can't make the decision to give it up to Josh. That's not how the game works. The double agents voted you in. You're going in. Shut up. Go down in the crater.
But you do see Anissa going, you know what? I think she's also looking out for me in the event that if it is a women's elimination, it's getting me what is perceived to be an easy opportunity for a skull.
That's right, because they are friends. They're friends with each other. So
they said at the beginning of the episode.
But it's such a stupid move because nobody in the house saw it coming, and it doesn't benefit Tori whatsoever. She should have done what the majority of people wanted. Now she's going to have a target, very large target, on her back.
Like, if you think about it, it's like maybe at that moment maybe they were working together. We're not seeing like the full working together thing. It's just being talked about. But you know that she has a long relationship with Nelson. Like, you would think they're very good friends. She's tight with Corey, who is tight with Nelson. She's tight with like a lot of people that are tight with Nelson. And you see it through like Corey, Nelson, all of them are like, what just happened? Like, did he plan this? Did he backstab me?
Right. People are asking about the shady deals. What shady deal did Fessy do in order to get himself put in? And I honestly think the only conversation that happened was right when they saw the hall brawl. I don't think he talked to Devin and Tori beforehand saying, I want to go in. But once they came out there, saw what the elimination was, Fessy goes, I want in. And I can't believe, I think that's the thing about Tori. She made a split-second decision. She didn't process everything through in terms of how this would affect her game in the long run. If it works out for Tori, great. Do I think it's going to work out for her? No.
Yeah. So I'm going to do the brief devil's advocate for Fessy. Like, I don't agree with his decision because I think he's sort of a wimp for saying that the only elimination he would go into is a hall brawl or something with a stick in the middle. I have issues with that because it shows how one-dimensional you are. Like, if I'm me, I'm making sure you're never touching that because that's what you want. I'm not going to give you what you want. Even if I'm your friend, I'm not going to give you what you want. But in his defense, he's being self-interested. It's a self-interested game, as he said, for $1 million. You know, if you're truly my friend, you'll be mad at me now, but you'll forgive me later. You know, type of thing. Like, if our friendship is real, me doing this on a season of a game show shouldn't destroy our friendship. And he's
agree. I agree. You're playing for yourself and you're playing for the $1 million. Here's where I have the issue. And we'll get to this when we get into the elimination. The way he was dirty with Nelson, that was too far because you're going in selfishly for yourself to win, but you literally had to do what he did to Nelson, which was so dirty in order to win.
And the thing is, I don't think he actually needed to do that to beat Nelson.
No.
But so let's get into it. So we get into round one. They do collide. You get this typical things of them saying, oh, it's the hardest hit I've ever taken. And I played football in college, you know. Did you know Fessy played football in college?
Yeah. He says in every single confessional, which
hey, kid, you didn't like NFL. Sorry, not sorry. But Nelson does the smart strategy if you're shorter than your opponent and also lighter than your opponent. You don't aim with your shoulder to go to the chest. You aim for your shoulder and your whole body to go low towards their legs to try to upend them. And if not upend them, you're at least holding onto their legs and creating a ball and chain type of thing.
Nelson's strategy was great. I think he went into it really well because I'm not really sure who's quicker of the two. And that's the thing with a hall brawl. Sometimes once the tangle up ends, it's whoever can sprint and push the button the fastest.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how far removed Fessy is from his collegiate career. I know that he works his butt off in the gym. So I would say, out of just speculation, I would assume Fessy is the faster one of the two just because of the style that it is. Because he would have to have done football trainings that are very similar to what a hall brawl is. But he decides, man, he's really holding me down, and he's just thinking, I need to win at any cost, and brings his arm around, breaks off the visor, like the eye protector, and starts sort of gouging at Nelson's eyes.
Literally smashing his head into the ground as well. And everyone standing and watching is just in disbelief. And people are even saying, look how dirty Fessy is playing. And I'm all here for competitors and people giving it their all, but that was so unnecessary, and it's such a turn off to watch.
Yeah. It's like, if you think of David versus Goliath, you would expect David to try to have to do something sneaky or dirty to try to get the upper hand of the Goliath. Fessy's the Goliath here. Like, he shouldn't need to do dirty tactics in order to win. And it also sort of gets statements from the group going, maybe Fessy actually doesn't look as dominating as people think he would be.
Right. And what I will say about Fessy became even more of a dumbass this episode and even more of a villain.
Oh, yeah. So let's breeze through this. It was a blink and you miss it type of bang, bang. Fessy wins round 1. They get into round 2. TJ
calls. Yep.
TJ did call him out, and TJ does call people out on dirty play and tries to stop it. But at that point, you can't really do anything about it in the first round. Second round, Fessy gets more than halfway through the hall before he makes contact with Nelson. Nelson tries to slow him down by holding on to the ankle, but Fessy wins, sweeps it 2-0. And Nelson's just like, he's not even in disbelief that he lost. He's in disbelief over what just happened.
Yeah, it's traumatizing for him. And then the fact that Fessy came over and tried to even touch him, Nelson's like, don't touch me, bitch. Leave me alone. Yeah. Which his reaction is definitely what it should have been, because Nelson, A, gets blindsided by someone who he thought was a true friend. And you do have to understand, your friends are going to backstab you sometimes in order to get where they want to get. But he also just went through how dirty Fessy was to get that win. So it's just terrible for Nelson. Nelson wants his space, and Fessy went and tried to invade it.
Well, like, I understand it from Fessy's point. It's just like, oh, I understand what I did was wrong. I wanted, like, just, it was sort of like that way of apologizing for it. But like, also just, you're trying to be a good sport about winning. So you're like, hey man, you did a good job. But sometimes you just don't want to hear it. And I was all for Nelson this episode, just going, no man, like, I'm not gonna get physically angry with you, but I'm pissed, man. Like, you just backstab me. Why? Don't hug me. Like,
right. And Nelson wasn't even being a poor sport in that instance. He just was taking a moment to himself. He's trying to process everything that happened. So Fessy should have been able to read that situation, say, you know what, I'm going to give him his space. And then maybe once everything is debriefed, I can then go up to him. We don't know how quickly things happen. There's an edit, but I just feel as though he shouldn't have gone up to Nelson the way he did. Just leave him alone.
Yep. So let's go through this now. Let's talk about enemies Fessy has made. So, first enemy is, well, Nelson, but he's out. Second enemy, Corey, because he's pissed that he betrayed the group. I can't trust you anymore. Fessy then goes, hey, Anissa, I feel someone's going to steal me from you anyway, so I don't want you to have a bad partner, so I'm going to steal Casey from Leroy. Now Leroy hates him. Anissa hates him. Casey's pissed because, dude, you're just bringing me down with you. Stop. I was doing fine.
I feel so bad for Casey because everyone else is bringing her down and she's doing nothing to bring herself down. Josh is bringing her down. Now Fessy's bringing her down. Casey needs to go on a challenge where it's just her because how she interacts with other people, she will do just fine without her friends being there. Because actually, I think her friends are a detriment to her game.
I agree. At least her big brother friends are detriment to her game. Because I don't even think we're talking about, this is the montage of Fessy making bad moves. I don't even think picking Casey was a good move there. I think his best move was either just stick. Well, actually, it was. His best move at that point in time was just stick with Anissa. Because as he said, at some point, someone was going to take him anyway, so let them do it.
Yeah, let them get the blood on their hands. Let Anissa be happy with you for a few more rounds. Maybe she can go in, earn her skull, make a decision if she wants to switch partners. Do I think she would switch? No. But as Fessy said, another girl's going to go in there, get their skull, and he's probably going to get scooped up because they want him on their side during a final.
Now, I think that story has changed.
Yes, I think people want to be disassociated.
I don't think there's going to be that many girls that are going to go outside of Casey just because Casey's undyingly loyal to people. I'm not going to run a final with you, kid. Like, I just saw what you did, man. If you were able to do all of this and betray so many people in 30 minutes, dude, I can't trust you.
Casey better run, and she better run fast. She needs to go in next week, get her skull, and get away from Fessy.
I just hope we get a women's elimination at some point that doesn't involve from Medevac.
I know, and then you have Ashley sitting at home watching this going, I could have been on for so many more episodes if I didn't lose that first challenge.
Absolutely. So let's wrap up the other stuff. Leroy then gets to pick because Casey was taking from him. He, I think, made the smart choice and picked Anissa. They have a good history with each other. And I think he knows Anissa can at least keep a level head. She's experienced. We'll figure it out.
That's a good choice on his. I mean, was it really even a choice? Because he doesn't have a connection with Amber M. Amber M has no connections in the house. Yes, she's made some friends, but if you're talking about two vets getting with each other, they have connections with so many different people that could benefit them in the long run. But I will say, poor Amber M. She's just getting shitted on.
Well, she's now partnered with Michi and another all-rookie team. I think all the rookies, for the most part now, are aligned with a rookie partner outside of Amber B.
I think you're right, because you have Gabby and Leo together. Then you have Nam and Lolo, and then Amber M, Michi. Yeah, the last one left, I believe, is Amber B.
Yeah, because Joseph's gone.
But we have to add Joseph in the episode at some point. I was never going
to mention Joseph's name again, but here we go. But for Leroy and Anissa, I also think there's a part of Leroy going, this is my last season. I want to get my first win. Anissa also wants to have her first win, and we're friends.
They are friends, but with that partner change, I don't think that they're going to end up lasting that long with each other.
Oh, no. I honestly think a lot of these teams are going to get shaken up. We're seeing it now. Like, I don't think a lot of people are going to choose to stay with their person unless they feel we both got our skulls, we're both dominant. Why change a good thing?
Here's my question for you. How many teams do you think are going to be together start to finish to a final?
But I would have to assume there's 5 teams that are going to go in because there's 10 skulls. I'm going to say at most, probably 2. And it'll all depend on timing.
I'm going to say 1.
Okay. We'll put the over-under at 1.5. You took the under. I took the over. We will come back to this come finale.
We will get back to you on that.
Okay, so we end this episode with pretty much like Fessy saying, yeah, I made a bunch of bad moves. Corey saying, dude, I'm coming for you, man. You just took out my brother. And Tori going, I think I made a big mistake that has a lot of ramifications to it. And I'm like, girl, first thing you said right all day.
Yep, another check mark in the dumbass move category for the evening.
But that wraps up everything that happened from this episode. We're sure to see more things blow up, as we saw in the preview. For next time, we at least see a Fessy versus Josh blow up. Oh, go figure. Another Josh blow up. But he has to make his rivals somehow.
He sure does. But yes, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight on Reality NSFW. Please come back tomorrow night for another live episode with Jonny, Zack, and Marie Roda, where they will break down the episode more in depth. Marie will probably give some more behind the scenes and be able to talk about some of these people that she's actually participated on a challenge with. So be sure to check them out tomorrow night.
And if you like what we're doing here, please subscribe to the Reality NSFW channel here on YouTube. Click the like button and click the bell for notifications so you know when we are going live. And if you want to be more involved with Reality NSFW, become a patron. If you go on patreon.com for Reality NSFW, become a patron. You get to join the Facebook group of patrons. Jonny and Zack and Matt are all very well involved within the community. They do a patron Q&A and are currently covering Survivor Australia, which is a blast to say the least. But with that, we're going to wrap things up tonight. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.
Now that the holidays are over, it's all too common to set health goals that never actually stick. New Year's resolutions of the past, we're looking at you. And when it comes to eating better and consuming less sugar, let's be honest, most healthy snacks don't taste very good. They don't fill you up, and they certainly don't satisfy your cravings. This episode is sponsored by Monk Pack, who makes snacks that taste like our favorite sugary treats, but with less than 1 gram of sugar.
Monk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars contain less than 1 gram of sugar, 2 to 3 grams of net carbs, and they're only 150 calories.
They're great for anyone following a keto lifestyle and the perfect snack for anyone who is trying to eat better or cut back on sugar and carbs without sacrificing taste.
Yeah, that's so true. I'm personally not a keto eater, but I love these nut and seed bars. I try to have one of these always on me for a snack because I'm usually trying to train for a new running distance I'm trying to hit. I think 2021 is going to be the year for my first full marathon, and I think Monk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars are going to help me get there because they're giving me the energy I need and the nutrition I need to make those health goals possible.
Wow. Monk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars have the perfect balance of sweet and salty, a crunch from whole nuts and seeds, but still manage to be soft and chewy. How do they do it? They come in delicious flavors like sea salt dark chocolate, pecan almond, and my favorite, no contest, love these so much, game changers if you will, the peanut butter dark chocolate.
So good. They're perfect for a quick snack to satisfy your sweet tooth without any guilt. Enjoy Monk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars as a quick breakfast, while running errands, or after a workout.
In addition to being keto-friendly, these bars are gluten-free, plant-based, and non-GMO, so with no soy, trans fat, sugar alcohols, or artificial flavors.
They really taste incredible, and you can't beat the low sugar nutrition or taste they provide. And by shopping online, you can avoid another trip to the grocery store by getting Monk Pack delivered right to your door.
Try it for yourself and see, and we have a special deal for our listeners. Get 20% off your first purchase of any Monk Pack product by visiting monkpack.com and entering promo code SURVIVOR at checkout.
And Monk Pack is so confident in their product, it's backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll exchange the product or refund your money, whichever you prefer.
So to get started, just go to monkpack.com, that's monkpack.com, and select any product, and then use promo code SURVIVOR, they love it when we do that, at checkout to save 20% off your purchase.
Monk Pack, delicious, nutritious foods you can count on, and we thank them for sponsoring the Reality NSFW podcast.
Any fool can climb a wall or crawl through sand, but as every fan knows, Survivor challenges are won or lost at the puzzle. The most successful players are puzzle masters, and you can be one too. Fairplay, Perplexers Puzzles creates handmade miniature replicas of many of Survivor's greatest and most challenging puzzles. Find out if you have what it takes by visiting the Perplexers Puzzle store on Etsy or simply visiting survivorpuzzle.com. Enter promo code FAIRPLAY, FAIRPLAY, at checkout for a 10% discount. And let me tell you, I'm hanging out on my patio on these beautiful summer nights. I have Zack Hacker coming over to my house, and we did the fire puzzle, the season 40 puzzle. I got the tree puzzle, and Zack was like, dude, these things are fucking awesome. So if you are a fan of Survivor, as Zack is, and I know he has a true, authentic Survivor puzzle that I have personally done, these Perplexers puzzles are the real deal. So go to survivorpuzzle.com right now, enter promo code Fairplay at checkout for a 10% discount, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed.